boos and angry whistles echoed around Santiago Bernabéu. Even Kylian Mbappé, sitting quietly in the VIP section due to suspension, likely did not expect to become the focal point of such fierce criticism from Real Madrid fans themselves. That moment was not just a knee-jerk reaction to the crushing defeat against Arsenal. It was a reflection of deeper doubts about his role, his impact, and the long-term success he can bring to the club's ambitious project. According to Spanish outlet ABC, the divide in the stands was clear. When the French striker's image appeared on the big screen, a section of supporters seized the chance to express their frustration, directing loud jeers at the club's blockbuster signing. Though some applause emerged from fans who still believe in the number 9, the disapproval drowned it out, casting a gloomy shadow over the stadium. This incident clearly highlights a growing rift between those who have lost patience and those still holding out hope, and the reasons are not hard to see. Across both legs of the Champions League quarterfinal against Arsenal, Mbappé looked unusually subdued. No goals, no assists, not a single moment that shifted the game. The man expected to lead Real Madrid through adversity seemed to vanish when it mattered most. Looking at the broader picture, Mbappé's first season in Madrid is far from a statistical failure. 31 goals and 4 assists in 46 appearances is a strong return. In La Liga alone, he has already netted 22 times, proving he remains a domestic scoring threat. He also played a part in winning the UEFA Super Cup earlier this season. But at Real Madrid, where statistics only tell part of the story, a star's true worth is measured in moments that define matches. By that standard, Mbappé is falling short. His dip in form at a critical stage has contributed to Real Madrid's risk of ending the season without either of their most coveted trophies, La Liga or the Champions League, after already losing the Spanish Super Cup. What was meant to be a campaign of triumph is beginning to unravel. Ironically, the player brought in as a supposed savior is now being viewed as part of the problem. And that problem is not just form, it is also tactical. Mbappé's arrival forced manager Carlo Ancelotti to tweak the system, reverting frequently to a 4-3-3 setup to accommodate him alongside Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, or Brahim Diaz. But that shift has exposed new vulnerabilities. What seemed like an attacking powerhouse now lacks defensive balance and control. Heavy losses, such as the 4-0 defeat to Barcelona in La Liga, the 2-0 Super Cup final loss, and the 5-1 collapse against Arsenal in the Champions League, all came with Mbappé featured prominently in the front line. At a club like Real Madrid, where winning is the only acceptable language, the presence of Kylian Mbappé, despite the lofty expectations, has become a serious question mark. And once faith starts to waver, even a global superstar is not shielded from the pressure coming from the very stands that once welcomed him. Ironically, Mbappé's absence in the match against Athletic Bilbao opened the door for Ancelotti to bring back the 4-4-2 system, a setup that delivered both La Liga and Champions League titles just last season. The Italian manager has been clear about his preference, saying, "The 4-4-2 is my favorite formation, especially for defending. It is more effective than any other." The narrow 1-0 win over Bilbao came late and was hard-fought, sealed only by Federico Valverde's stoppage-time strike. But the positives were clear. Real Madrid's defense looked more solid, and more importantly, the system seemed to unlock Jude Bellingham. No longer forced to drop deep to make room for Mbappé, the English midfielder was free to push forward, operating almost like a false 9, the very role in which he scored 23 goals last season. Against Bilbao, Bellingham had at least 2 dangerous headers, proving how much of a threat he becomes when he plays closer to the box. After the match, Ancelotti had high praise. "Jude gave us a big advantage last season. Today he played brilliantly again, especially in the second half. He deserved a goal." Bellingham's resurgence in that system has only intensified the questions about Mbappé's fit. Even Thibaut Courtois, after the defeat to Arsenal, hinted at internal issues. Sometimes we all need to look in the mirror and evaluate honestly. We are a team, but maybe we need to play more like one rather than individually. Though no names were mentioned, the message reflected what fans are already seeing on the pitch. The chemistry between the attacking stars, especially involving Mbappé, still feels unpolished. For Real Madrid fans, signing Mbappé was never just a football. Kylian Mbappé was supposed to be the heir to Cristiano Ronaldo's throne. the new face of a golden generation, the future captain who would lead Real Madrid to glory with his generational talent. But less than one full season in, that aura has faded, and what remains is a haze of uncertainty. Journalist Tomás Roncero of Cadena Ser put it bluntly. So far, Mbappé's performances do not even match the shadow of Ronaldo when he first arrived at the Bernabeu. Comparisons with Ronaldo are inevitable. That is the weight anyone wearing the number 7 shirt must carry. Cristiano Ronaldo joined Real Madrid and instantly created a seismic impact. He shattered records, lifted the club to unimaginable heights, and became the greatest symbol of victory in the club's history. But even he was booed. Even he faced the cold whistles of the Bernabéu, a place known for its brutal standards and its refusal to tolerate compromise. The difference is, Ronaldo always responded. He answered with goals, with extraordinary performances, and with a relentless will to win. And that is exactly what Kylian Mbappé must learn, must prove, and must deliver if he truly wants to become a legend in Madrid. There is a classic example, a defining lesson. Years ago, in a match against Celta Vigo, Cristiano Ronaldo lost possession, and the Bernabeu instantly turned on him with whistles. But just minutes later, he silenced the entire stadium with an outrageous 4-goal haul. That is the mark of a legend, the ability to turn pressure into fuel, to transform doubt into admiration. Ronaldo understood that to stand where no one else has stood, you must endure what no one else can bear. He never avoided criticism. He never complained. He used the harsh expectations of the Bernabeu as a springboard to greatness. And that, more than anything, is the lesson Kylian Mbappé needs to absorb right now. The Bernabeu may be the most demanding stadium in the world, but it is also the most glorious, reserved for those who are ready to fight to be worthy. The boos on Sunday were not just frustration. They were a reminder of what Real Madrid stands for. At this club, the standard is greatness, and so far, Mbappé has not delivered enough. No one denies Mbappé's talent. His blistering pace, dazzling footwork, and clinical finishing are all world-class. But to truly win over the hearts of Madridistas, to etch his name into the legacy of European football's grandest stage, he needs more. He needs courage. He needs humility. He needs to fight, especially when the stakes are highest. To be fair, it is not over. Mbappé is still young. This is only his first season wearing the royal white shirt. Even legends like Zinedine Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Luka Modric needed time to settle, to adapt, and to understand that, at Real Madrid, collective triumph always comes first. The 2018 World Cup winner must offer more than just brilliance. He must show growth. He must learn to embrace the club's tradition of sacrifice, of team spirit, and of hunger for glory. At Real Madrid, there is no room for ego, only space for those willing to give everything. The Bernabeu crowd may have been divided with both whistles and applause, but that only proves one thing: faith in Mbappé still exists. The fans are still waiting for that moment of brilliance, one spark, one performance where he shoulders the club like the hero they imagine him to be. The pressure is real, but so is the opportunity. The road ahead will not be easy, but if he follows the example of Ronaldo, if he confronts adversity and overcomes it, then the whistles of today could become roaring ovations tomorrow. The Bernabeu does not hand out legendary status easily, but once it calls your name, it never forgets it. And now, Mbappé stands at a crossroads. He can stay silent and fade away, or rise and respond with a performance fit for a king.